welcome to another episode of the Paal15 Podcast, where we discuss the burning issues in the world of business technology. I'm your host, Matt Gray, in London, and I'm joined today by Werner in the Netherlands, and making his podcast debut, Bas Paal15 in Seattle. Welcome to the show, guys. How are you both?
Good morning.
Of course. Good evening to Werner. Good morning to Bas.
I'm good. I'm excited to have Bas on the show. He's our basically newest addition to the team, although not so new, right? But cool to have boots on the ground in Seattle these days. So excited to talk a bit about Bas' experience. So officially welcome, Bas.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for finally being part of the podcast series. I watched them all and I enjoy them. So
that was you. Okay.
Yeah, it's great to have you here, Bas. I think it's pretty fitting that we're doing this podcast from 3 separate countries today, because we're going to discuss something that a lot of B2B tech companies find challenging, and that's growing successfully across international markets. So let's jump in, and I think we'll start by getting you both to imagine yourself in a particular scenario. So you're a B2B tech company. You've developed a product that you're now selling successfully to multiple customers in your home market. And you know from chatter you're hearing across the industry that your solution could solve the same issues at similar customers in other markets. So I guess, how do you start that journey to sell internationally? Werner, let's start with you.
Yeah, it's an interesting question, Matt. I think we've seen a lot of customers over the years that the scenario you just described, right? So you're successful in your home market, and then suddenly you run into a customer that also has some presence abroad. And then suddenly the question is like, should we maybe also look at expanding internationally, right? And whether it's your neighbor country or you go overseas straight away, it basically all starts with figuring out what is that business case, right? Because you're obviously going into a different market, different territory, different habits, different market dynamics. So the first thing that we often sort of look at is, okay, what is actually the business case, right? What is the competitive market? What is the total addressable market, right? Can we figure out what the total market opportunity is? And then start with some goal setting, getting a proper understanding of the market, right? It's often not a copy paste, right? There's so much differences even per country, right? I mean, from, let's say, the Netherlands to Belgium is not as easy as it seems, right? By car, it's easy, and selling something in a B2B product in Belgium is not as easy as just driving to the neighbors. It's literally looking at, okay, what is the total addressable market? What are the habits in the market? What would the customer journey be? Would it be different? Should we do something on pricing? What other sort of market dynamics are relevant to actually figure out if you're going to make it in that market, right? And then, often it's using your existing context. For example, you already have a customer that has certain presence there. Can we find some poster child examples? And then, the usual sort of test fast and fail fast approach applies, right? But obviously that's not the only thing, right? And that's also why Bas is here. There's so many other complexities that Bas in his long career already dealt with. So also curious to get your view on this one, Bas.
Yeah, I think absolutely. If you have a full company in a certain market, you have all the aspects of your business well defined. You have support, you have customer engagement, you have people that can do the technical engagement with the customers. That's all absent in the new market, right? So you have the product, you can bring it to the other country. That's actually the first check you have to do, right? If your expectations that your product will behave the same in your market as in the other market, so that there are certifications or legal restrictions or requirements that have to be implemented. That's the first check you have to do, so that when you go in, you don't hop into these issues first, and you will be stuck quite early on. The second thing is, of course, if you go into a market, it's often a long-term commitment, right? So if you're building something in another market, and expectations of customers that going to build part of their business on your technology, they want to have commitment from you too. So if you make that decision, and often it's like, okay, now we have this product and we can sell actually it everywhere. I mean, with technology, the bits and bytes flow freely. So it is it is actually often an early discussion of saying, okay, now we have this initial market. Which other markets are we going to conquer to grow that exponential growth that our investors want to see, and that we are also expecting from our product. But you have to be aware that a lot of these aspects of your business in that other market will behave differently. If you use partners in this market and you use partners for different aspects of your go-to-market, you all have to build those relationships in that new market too. And even if you do it yourselves in that primary market, you have to decide if you want to do that also in that secondary market. For instance, customer support, right? You have to have someone who answers the phone and is going to go to that customer and support him. Will you have that capabilities immediately, or are you going to buy that? So you build something in your business model that it is attractive for another partner to bring your product into his support line. So there's a lot of these kind of nitty-gritty details you have to really think about in terms of the customer journey. What you can anticipate, and what if you don't, you can be, it can go very quickly wrong and can be very disappointing. I've seen a lot of companies going into markets, and then when that one customer is not performing well, they pull out. So it's burning a lot of energy. I mean, it's setting up an entity. Is that needed or not? But if you set up an entity, you hire people, and that already can take, of course, quite some time to get an organization up and running. Like, the functions in your company need to be supported in that other market too. And if you do that yourself, or you have that done by a third party, if you have it done by a third party, you have to build in margin for that third party to make it attractive for them to take on those roles. But you will become more depending. So you will not be able to change your business model that quickly. Those companies or those partners will invest also in your business and will expect that you respect that and treat that correctly, but also that it is financially viable for them, which makes your profit model, like what's in your primary market, can be completely different. Other options for going international are also licensing, right? You can bring your product on the license somewhere else, and they can just take the product and do whatever they want to do with it without any control from you, other than getting your license fee for every product that's being sold. And everything in the middle, like going in with a full-fledged organization where you have all the aspects of your company taken care of, till that let's say most lean model, which is could be bringing your product in another market on the license, and that is the journey you have to go through as a company to say, okay, if I grow quickly and I do it indeed on the license and I get only a couple of bucks per license, will that erode my future potential to become a big company and control it and go somewhere? Or is that something that is attractive for you because you're not interested in going global with a full-fledged organization anyway?
Interesting. So that's a real, kind of existential question that every business has to ask themselves, right? Do you go?
No, it's way more complex probably than. I mean, a lot of entrepreneurs that build a tech company and put all their effort in that organization in that one market to have that full customer journey covered, from new customers to supporting them to grow with the customers, to grow their share of wallet within the customers. That kind of concept needs to be completely repeated from the ground up in another market. I think still with tech it's easier than with many other products where they have more localization questions and such.
So that leads us really nicely to our next question, actually, Bas. If we can get ourselves back into the heads of the B2B tech company we're thinking about at the start of the episode. You've got a compelling business case. You've got the kind of evidence that you need that a particular market's going to work for you. and you've made your decision whether you're going to go indirect through partners or distributors, or you're going to flood the market with boots on the ground to deal with the complexities you might have to deal with. It's time to start selling, right? So how do you start marketing that product to a new country, or even, I guess, across several in a whole region?
Yeah, so what Werner also was referring to, often you have a customer that pulls you into a certain market, right? So if that happens, often it's not even such a conscious choice to go into that specific market, because that customer wants to use it in that other market too, and say like, hey, let's go there, but I need support there, local support and everything. Then it's even not so conscious. But you have your pilot customer, and I think that is what I wanted to get to. It's like, most often these kind of things work best with a pilot customer, a lighthouse customer, where you can explore how everything will work in that market, and run it as a pilot. And I think you have to be upfront with that with the customers also, like that they are helping them to land it in that new geography or in that new market. And based on that, you can figure out what the success factors are to grow that business. When you have that lighthouse or that pilot partner customer, that is the way you can build your business. That's the way you can build your marketing again. You can make a reference case out of it. You can understand what are the other actors in that market that can help you scale. Build a distribution model or build an implementation model if you need partners to do the technical implementation, and actually that is very similar to what a customer probably is, of a company probably is experienced to in his own market by crawl, walk, run, and scale it that way. It's absolutely different if you have a product that is really support heavy or support lean, where you can just sell it in a box and with a manual and put it through distribution. Then you have to take care of other things. You have to localize the language, and you have to do probably the certification locally from a legal perspective. But then you can sell it in, and you don't have that whole technical dependency on other partners to make it to implement it. So of course there are many different differences in how to approach that. But I think pilots are always the way to go. Start small. You have a limited risk, limited investment, and you can quickly evaluate what will work and what won't.
Let's end this podcast then by just getting kind of a summary from both of you on what your key bits of advice are, what your key takeaways are for any business that's listening there who wants to grow into a new market.
I think what I've seen most, right, is that, I mean, you're used to your home market, right? And you shouldn't take for granted that the next market is going to be the same, right? So do a thorough investigation. What is the total addressable market? Make sure there's a solid investigation to what the market dynamics are, and make sure, you almost to Bas's point just now, right? Test small, right? Whether it's via a friendly customer or friendly partner, but just do a bit of testing, do a bit of POC, and then get the first results in before you go all in. And then obviously what we see quite a lot is the whole sort of P2P motion, right? So partners working collectively together to scale to a different country, right? But that's sort of make sure it's not a copy paste, because it's for sure not that easy. That I think is still sometimes what we see, right? It probably works like this as well in the other country, and that's not how it works.
Yeah, and I think what we see also is often that it goes organically, that the customer is being pulled, or a partner of you have other entities in other markets and want to bring you in that market. I think that is the point that you as a tech company be very cautious of saying, okay, this would be the low hanging fruit because there's also someone who comes to carry me in this market. But I think at that moment you have to decide, okay, I go international, I go to another market. Let's do some more due diligence on which markets are the best fit, because a new customer can be actually easily found. So even though you have that starting point, maybe that starting point could be the trigger for you to think about it, but maybe not go with it, because we have seen a lot of examples that indeed you go with that customer to that market, but that market didn't have a fit that you were expecting. So I think doing that due diligence at that moment is very important. The second thing is also that it takes time and it takes effort. So it is, even though you can go opportunistic and go with that one customer that is going into that market, or saying, hey, this partner wants to sell me also in another market. It can be very opportunistic and very fruitful very shortly. But for the long term, I think it's better to do a little bit more due diligence and understand what the investments will require to be successful.
Well, that's fantastic points there. Thank you. I'm sure a lot for people to chew over. That's unfortunately all the time we have for today's episode. So Bas and Werner, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us, Matt, again.
Yeah, absolute pleasure to have you both on. I'm sure you'll both be back very soon. If you've enjoyed this episode of the Paal15 podcast, please do like, follow, or subscribe on your platform of choice. In particular, you should check out our latest C-Series interview with Mark Johnston, who's CMO of Matillion. That's live right now. And if you want any more info on Paal15 or the work we do helping B2B tech companies grow internationally, check out paal15.com. Thanks for listening. See you next time.